This is a request video. Someone requested this, and he's pretty you know, passionate about the request. So I figured I'd do it. Actually, two guys requested this past couple months, and I might have did a video like this before. Again, before I even start, like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert. I probably shoot wrong because I'm not a professional shooter or anything like that. Okay, so I'm just telling you from my standpoint. I watch a lot of people shoot around the same distance I do, and I consider myself to be pretty decent, so it gives me some say on this subject. Alright, I don't want to sound, you know, that's the way I feel about it right now. We're going to talk about triggers. Guys, can you do a video on you know, different triggers, different trigger pulls, you know, your opinions on them, which ones you feel better with, and this and that. I'm going to kill my dogs. They're outside fighting again. They play fight, but they sound real rough, and they're pit bulls, right? And believe it or not, they are play fighting, and my neighbors are like, oh God, are they fighting dogs? It's like, no, they just play rough. That's just the way they are. And the one, Lucy Love, I call her Lucy Love because she wants to, all she wants to do is love. She's like a slut dog. You know what I'm saying? If she was a dancer and got reincarnated as a dog, like a slutty dancer, it would be Lucy. And she always wants to lick my face, and her breath smells like an old crab cake sitting in a hot dumpster in the back of a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? So I push her away. I feel bad and I'm mean to her, but her breath is horrible. She's like, Daddy, give me a kiss. Hi, I've been licking my anal sack for 25 minutes. Can I have a kiss? Get the frig out of here, dog. Anyway, I want to thank Andy. The guy didn't leave a note, so he left me a PM. His name's Andy. That's why I have this out still. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for the first season of Trailer Park Boys. I never even seen an episode of this. Never. And I keep hearing about it. I tried finding it on TV and everything. I don't know what the deal was. I just couldn't find it. I'm going to start watching this probably tonight, have a few beers, loosen up a little bit, and laugh. So I really appreciate that, Andy. I got your PM. Okay, now, I'm going to do the best I can with this one. This is a little weird for me, this video. I got all kinds of guns on the table because they all got all different kinds of trigger tensions. All the different triggers break at a different time. All the different triggers break in a different position. So every gun you're going to use is, you got to find what you like. You got to find out, do I like the trigger breaking in the rear? Do I like the trigger to break towards the front of the trigger guard? Or do I like the trigger to break dead center? In medium, you know what I mean? Me, personally, I like a trigger to break in the middle. Now some guns, I swear to God, it's not even this ain't bullshit, because I got them all here. Some guns, this is loaded, so let's make it safe. Check them all no matter what. Okay. What I mean by the rear, the middle, and the front is, let me get a pointer. I don't want to look like a douchebag with a pointer, but I'm going to use it. Alright, let's rack the Glock. Okay. Here's the trigger. Now, if it breaks, as soon as I pull it, if it breaks right away, that trigger breaks towards the front. Okay? It's breaking right there. So that trigger is not breaking to the, this is the rear. That trigger is not breaking at the rear. That trigger is breaking midway. That's probably why I shoot well with the Glock, because it has the trigger where where it bends is most comfortable for me, where I feel more confident with the gun. That's why I probably shoot good with that. Now when I had the HK broke all the way to the rear. I could shoot a group with it, don't get me wrong. Maybe the size of my fist, but could I make one big hole with the HK? No, because me personally, I don't like a trigger that breaks all the way in the back of the trigger guard. And that's another reason why I passed on the Ruger LC9. That thing breaks all the way back here. But again, that's an emergency gun, so I'm still up in the air with that. I want a mouse gun. So this trigger breaks, to me, halfway through the trigger guard. Okay? Now the 1911s, they got the best trigger. They really do. No magazine in there, but you know what? There might be one in the chamber, so you check anyway. Okay? Nothing in the chamber. Now this is an extended trigger on a 1911. Okay? Yeah, I know it's an extended trigger because this trigger comes all the way out to here, and it's right in the middle of the trigger guard. And as soon as you kind of touch this trigger and it moves a little, boom, the hammer falls. This one breaks halfway point also. Can I shoot this one well? I could probably shoot this one the best. Well, I don't know now. The Ed Brown, I kind of did good with that too, but this one shoots fantastic for me because it's what I like. It's what I'm comfortable with. Midway trigger, right? Now the Ed Brown, and did you see the creep on this? Okay. It's moving, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving. So I would say it moves, man, a good eighth of an inch before the hammer falls. So now I even know when the hammer's going to fall with this. I really can control this gun. That's how I shoot. That might be wrong, but that's how I shoot. But, you know, if it ends up like that, I'm not going to change anything. I think that's a good target. That's why I hung this one up, Ed Brown 10. I'm starting to save my targets and keep records. Never did that before. It's just something new I'm doing. Okay, now this Ed Brown trigger is real light. Let's check her out. Just got done cleaning this bad boy. Man, that feels like silk. And this is a midway trigger too. This has an extended trigger, and it's midway. Okay, and as soon as I pull it, Jesus, that's half the distance of the Colt's trigger. So this is a really, really sensitive trigger, but it breaks midway. That's why I think I can shoot good with it. I might be wrong, but I think that's why. Okay, real sensitive trigger, the Ed Brown. And the more you shoot these kind of guns, these custom guns, the better they feel, the better you'll shoot them. Because they just work and work and work. Let me see. I wish I had a gun where the trigger breaks at the rear, but I don't. Now the Smith & Wesson M&P, this trigger is a little different. This is loaded. Okay. Now I understand the M&P. I don't know what happened, but when they first came out, I could swear to God the trigger was breaking all the way to the front. I couldn't shoot with this. And then I waited a couple years and then I just bought one. Now I can shoot with it, but because the M&P breaks midway. It breaks midway. It does not break at the rear. That's midway. Now the HK would break here. Click. I mean, it's just too far back for me. So this is another gun where the trigger breaks midway. So, damn tripod. I could shoot with it. The XD has a really smooth trigger. As far as these polymer guns, these Glocks, to me, the XD has the nicest trigger. It's so soft. It's such a soft trigger. It's really comfortable, and I like that their trigger is steel and it's not plastic. You know what I mean? And the little safety in between, that's metal, and it's shaped like your finger. That's the way it should be. So when it goes flush, you don't even notice that thing. But the XD kind of breaks in the rear. Watch this. Not broke yet. In the rear, but because the trigger is so thick, my finger is still forward. You understand what I'm saying? The trigger is thick, so my finger ain't all the way back to here. For some reason, if my finger comes all the way back to here, I must move the gun. That's probably what I do. But the XD trigger is a soft trigger, and it breaks towards the rear. It doesn't break at the rear. Okay, so I still can shoot this one. But this one, I don't know. It's hard to explain. This trigger is so nice, even though if it does break towards the rear, you could still manage the gun at the trigger break. because it has such a soft trigger break. It doesn't interrupt anything. Okay, that's why these XD triggers are awesome. Now you got triggers like the Sig Sauer. This is a difficult trigger for me to shoot with. This is a Sig Sauer P226. This is probably one of the most reliable, durable guns on the planet. The 226 and the 229. I mean, if a bunch of guns were laying on the ground and someone said you can only have one, and there's an apocalypse, you know, I don't know, man. I might have to grab the Sig 229 or the 226 because they don't have a lot of parts in them and they're all steel. They're very, very durable. I don't know. It's hard. Dude, they're such high quality weapons. And the Sig is the only pistol in the safe where the finish, talking about the smoothness of the finish, almost matches the Ed Brown. The Ed Brown's a little smoother, but this is real close. I mean, Sig Sauer does a beautiful job on their handguns. So, nothing in the mag. It's got a real stiff recoil spring, this bad boy. This is a 357 Sig caliber. Really cool. Now this trigger, alright, let's put it in single action. Okay, so we fired it. The slide went back and forward. Now we're in single action. The Sig trigger is pretty much to the rear. And it has a kind of a hard break like the M9. Not as bad though. The M9's got a really hard break, man. But the Sig, see how the gun's shaking? When I'm trying to concentrate, and then I feel the stoppage. So now I'm concentrating. I want to feel the creep. But see how the gun starts to shake? That's where your trigger break is stiff and it's messing up your accuracy. You know, I hope this video is doing you justice, what you asked for. So, excellent gun. Not the best trigger, but a good trigger for me. This gun won't shake during the trigger break because it's soft trigger pull. Same with this one. Same with this one. This one's pretty good too. Now you got a Cowboy gun. I don't know why I brought this up, but it has such a sensitive. We gotta empty this. It has such a sensitive trigger. I mean, all you do is touch it. Okay. This trigger is like a. It feels like my 308 bolt action Remington 700. Okay. So when I cock it, and there's no creep. It's hard. It's not moving. All I got to do is nudge it, and the hammer's going. See? There's no creep at all. I mean, there's a little creep, but it's hard. I can shoot pretty accurate with this. You know, I shot it one time so far, but there is no creep in that trigger. It is at the rear, but remember, this revolver is a whole different ergonomic. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have problems shooting this, is what I'm saying. Here's a trigger that fires at the rear, and there's no play at all, and I can shoot it. So the reason why, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the ergonomics is good for me, but there's no play at all. So you really got to be careful with these single action Cowboy guns. Once that hammer's cocked, don't screw around, man. It's a very dangerous trigger. It is literally a hair trigger. Literally. And that's out of the box. Not worked. But this is a lot of fun to shoot, this gun. And I just figure I'd do a video like this. You guys can look at all these guns. These are self-defense 45 long Colts. They're hollow points. They're them critical defense ones. Pretty cool. Usually keep them in my Alaskan. I think I will transfer them over to my Alaskan. Keep them out of the Cowboy gun. But that's it. I mean, that's how I shoot. So the bottom line is, when I shoot, I like to feel a little bit of a creep. The Ed Brown, I'm starting to feel when it creeps. When I first shot it, I couldn't feel the creep. I was shooting all over the place. Now, when I pull it and the trigger moves just a hair, alright, it moved. Now I'm on target. Steady, 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 bang. And I usually hit my target. Alright, so there's your trigger video, bro. I hope you liked it. I mean, I'm not going to get a trigger scale out and measure each trigger, okay? Because what's that going to do for you? You know what I'm saying? Probably the longest trigger pull is the Glock, is the Polymer guns. The Glock, the XD, and the M&P. They got real long trigger pulls. But the other ones are, you know, pretty sensitive. Okay? Alright guys, hope you liked the video. Hope you learned something. Guy left a comment on my birthday video. I was like, oh, I want to come over here and learn about guns. I don't want to see you open fucking packages. Guess what, dude? Then fucking unsubscribe. Don't watch my videos, okay? You don't get the channel. You just don't get it. This channel is not just about guns. It's about everything. 80% guns, 20% bullshit. Remember that. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. See ya.